It's worth noting that after you watch this review, you should go over to Conda Fiction's channel and check out the 3rd episode of the Anime Nomad podcast, where we go in depth and talk about King's Game, giving it a full, complete breakdown. With that being said, enjoy the video and be thankful you don't have to watch King's Game. Nobuaki Kanazawa, who transferred to a high school far away, is afraid of getting intimate with his new classmates because of the events that happened from his previous school. This led him to shut his heart out. However, he starts to open up during the sports festival's class relay. He and all of his classmates received an email from King. At first, his classmates didn't take what they were told seriously, thinking, oh, it's just a joke. But Nobuaki, the only one who knows the real meaning of it, fights against the death game that will soon begin. The rules of King's Game are as followed. 1. All class members must participate. 2. The order sent by King through email must be followed within 24 hours. 3. A punishment will be given to those who do not follow the order. 4. Quitting the King's Game halfway is forbidden. King's Game is by Studio 7, who are known mostly for hentai, but also the fantastic anime I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying, which is an adaptation of the fantastic Kyo Shinja 4, of the same name, who also created the obvious Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. As for what this is based off of, this anime is based off a mobile phone visual novel of the same name. It's bad.
Nobuaki, run!
Come on, you can do it!
Go nuts, go!
To say King's Game even has a story is insulting to every single story in the history of anime. King's Game has no story. It's more like a collection of random events and ideas duct taped together by the synopsis. There really is no progression with the story, and the only time it even tries to do something different is when they do something absolutely stupid like, oh, the King's Game is actually a computer virus. I wouldn't say it tries to insult your intelligence with this, but because it's obvious the creator of this story couldn't even figure out how to write a competent character, let alone make the viewer feel any emotion besides boredom. King's Game isn't even on the level of so bad it's good. At the best, it made me laugh at how awful it was, but the series was either up its own ass half the time or trying to figure out if Natsuko was a genius villain or just a psychotic girl who lucked out with the dumbest classmates to torture or mess with. The pacing as well is all over the place, as the first 5 episodes are actually just flashbacks to the previous King's Game. This, in theory, is not bad, but it's hard to get invested in a flashback when the winner of the last King's Game turns out to be your MC for the series that was set up before the flashbacks even began. King's Game is not Shakespeare. Hell, Michael Bay does a better job at making films than this. Whatever this abomination was, at least Michael Bay wouldn't show a condom and then add sound effects to it. Most hentai are better than King's Game. Characters are non-existent in King's Game. There are simply hollowed out bodies that regurgitate the dialogue that the plot needs them to say to get to the next scene. The only characters that are somewhat likable are Chibi and Nobuaki, but even then they have their bouts of dumbassery and are forced to something they probably shouldn't even need to do. For example, Chimi is made to have sex with Nobuaki's best friend, but they all refuse to do it because, you know, Nobuaki is the one for Chimi and it would betray their friendship and whatnot. But it wouldn't betray their friendship, as they are all in a magical death game where logic doesn't matter and heads twist off like Tootsie Rolls. There should be no problem with this, and there is probably enough loopholes to get around this whole thing without damaging their, air quotes, trust too much. But nope, it just makes all the characters look incredibly stupid. Like I said, characters aren't characters in King's Game, they're just a means to a really shitty end.
Nice to meet you.
Honda.
Yep. So where'd you transfer in from? Also, can I call you Nobu?
The art design in King's Game is akin to a hentai studio deciding they want to make an edgy anime to cut themselves with. Oh wait, this is actually a studio that makes hentai, which only means we need the footage of them cutting themselves with a picture of Natsuko to confirm my theory. So yeah, this anime looks really bad, and the only positive I'd even give to this series is that I find Natsuko way more attractive than I probably should. Actually, now that I think about it, Natsuko and Chimi honestly do have some pretty solid designs, which is very odd. Every single other character in this anime looks like generic anime trash that not even some of the worst anime studios would use. But the two sisters of this series, yeah, they look fine, literally and figuratively, and somewhat competent, which I guess is a positive. The other characters even look like rip-offs from other animes too, especially with Riona, who looks like a Dollar Tree version of Coco from Golden Time, which makes me feel sorry for Golden Time, because I had to mention Golden Time, which is an awesome anime, in a video that's about King's Game. As for the rest of King's Game art, it's bad. That's all you really need to know.
So how come you moved out here to the boonies?
Were there any hot girls at your school? Hey, please tell me you like soccer.
King's Game animation isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It's probably the best thing the series has going for it, as it's the closest thing to so bad it's good the series even has. I say this because some of the facial expressions are so over the top and outrageous. I compare it to gore porn or really violent hentai where the faces are contorted into weird shapes because reasons. Honestly, that's how my soul felt after this anime, just contorted like a hentai anime girl in a badly animated hentai. Honestly, the only things I felt were animated well were these two things. Honestly, the only things I felt were animated well were two things. The first being the opening and ending sequences. And I'm not lying when I say this, when Natsuko is fucking a random guy for no reason. And honestly, once you realize who this anime is made by, it actually makes perfect sense. So good on you, King's Game. At least something here was not animated terribly.
No!
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I'm not even going to talk about the score for King's Game, as it's shit. Instead, I'm going to talk about the opening and ending songs as they're fantastic. The opening is Feed the Fire by Cold Rain, which is a band I've never listened to before. They are a Japanese metalcore band formed in 2007 and have since released 5 studio albums. As far as how they sound, it's basically the same kind of metalcore sound you've expected from Japan over the years. Not much unlike something from classic Avenged Sevenfold or Asking Alexandria. If you're looking for a Japanese metalcore band, they're not bad. There are better bands out there, but they are good nonetheless. As for the ending song, it's Lost Paradise by Pele, and while I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to this song outside of the anime, it's a nice song. It's much better than anything you'd watch in the episode itself.
Everyone seems to be grinning and laughing constantly. Things feel like they used to. I'm starting to feel at home.
One, two, you hear the clock ticking, tick, tock. You about to stop living.
King's Game is part of the Funimation Now program and was simuldubbed through their streaming service. It is probably their worst dub. It's bad. It's very bad. Characters are emotionless a lot of the times. The lines they're given to read are probably high school level writing on the verge of middle school writing. The best parts of this dub are once again Natsuko and Chimi, who are voiced by April Brine and Alexis Tipton respectfully. Also, Josh Brell, who plays Midoriya in My Hero Academia, is in this. Also, Sarah Weidenheft, who plays Toru in Dragon Maid. You know, this anime didn't deserve the cast it got.
There's no stopping it. A new King's Game has begun.
You think we're different? You think we never feel the way you do?
King's Game is one of the worst anime I have ever seen. King's Game gets a 2 out of 10. At least Natsuko was hot.